Hi everyone, this is Deb at Color Everywhere, and I'm here today to do a pre-video for a hop that's on November 12th, and our subject is dioramas. So I was just kind of looking around to see what I had available, because I've been trying to do that with a lot of my projects lately, and I just recently bought some new earbuds, which I've already lost on, I believe, on the airplane. But anyway, it has this really cool little box. I love Apple's packaging boxes. They're just nice boxes. And this one slides in and out pretty easily. It's a nice little size, so I don't have to do a large project. And it's real sturdy. Excuse me. Sorry. So I thought this would be a cute way to do it, something that can be given to someone or saved, pretty simply. And I like the size. Hopefully, I'm going to like the size when it's finished too. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a not congestion, but something down in my throat here. So hopefully, I won't be coughing too much, and I will drink lots of water. So my idea, which I think this is going to work. My idea is to make a little diorama inside this box of trees. Maybe it's not very deep, so it's kind of hard to do anything with a lot of depth. But I want to make it look like a lane that you can go down, and the inside will be painted, and it'll be maybe a little spooky. I'm not sure about that yet, but I sort of got the idea to use wire to make the trees, and maybe some other things. I haven't decided about putting a person in there. Not sure if I want to do that or not. We'll see. But I know I want to start with the trees. So I have to make them small enough so they'll fit in the box. And I want them to sort of, fill to look like a pathway that I'm trying to think of what the word is. Maybe arbor. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not. But so the trees are overshadowing the pathway on both sides. And that's a lot to get in this little box. So it's just going to mostly be trial and error to see what can be done. So I already started by making one little tree. And I have several different sizes of pliers and what have you. But what I actually used was this tool for coiling. It's used to coil wire, and you put the rod part in this part. It's just a real simple tool, all made out of metal. So you put it in here. You attach the wire, you wrap it up here around this end, and then you turn this, and it coils the wire. Well, first I thought, well, that's what I'll do, but it won't work with what I'm doing because what I'm doing is too small. And so what I've been doing is just using the tool as a mandrel to wrap it around. So sometimes, you can't always use your tools the way they're meant to be used, but you can still use them. So I'm trying to decide if this is going to be small enough, and I think I'm going to wrap these just one or two more times to make them shorter so they'll fit better in the box. And I'll show you how to make this from the beginning in a moment, as soon as I make sure this is what I want to do. This is sort of my trial. Hi, Angie. Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time because I haven't been on here in a long time. Nice to see you, girl. How you doing? So I'm just wrapping these a little farther, curling them a little tighter so they're closer. Let's see, this one's hardly curled at all. And they're mostly about close to the same length. I didn't need to be exact, but what it actually is several pieces of wire wrapped together. And let me get in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Angie, can you hear me all right? So I'm just twisting this down a little closer, like that. See how long this one is? It's kind of hard to see. If I can get where it'll focus better. All this shiny wire. So see how long this one is? I'm just going to make it shorter. It's been so busy around here, I've hardly even been able to watch anyone's videos, much less do one. But hopefully that's going to calm down a little bit soon. We've had sick dogs and people traveling and just you name it. It seems like it's been going on this month. Hi, Brenda. Yeah, I know you've been selling, Angie. You were selling when I was still there selling. Keisha and I had a nice long conversation yesterday. I hadn't talked to her in a while either because I've been so running around so much. So that was nice to get a little time to talk. So I had some time today to actually do something I wanted to do, not something I had to do. Okay, so I made that a little bit shorter and that should fit better. Yeah, see, now it'll fit inside there. So now I have to decide how I'm going to do the bottom. And normally this is similar to the way you would make a tree of life pendant, because you twist all these wires together, and then at the top, the part that you want to be branches, you open out, but instead of putting springs on them like this, you put beads. So I don't know, I might be doing a tree with some beads on there, so it could be a flowering tree, but we'll see. So I'm going to open this up, and what I'll do is probably find a little stone. I got all kinds of beads and stuff, so I'll have something I can use. But I'll probably use that as a base for the tree and sort of wrap the wires around the rock so it'll look like it's roots growing around a rock, and then glue that in. Hi, Brenda. Oh, Angie, what kind of new stuff do you have? I know you were making cards, which were beautiful. And then your, I forgot what those things are called. Those little round things that you make. Can't think of what they're called. I've been doing just about nothing as far as creating goes. So it's nice to get down here in the creative space and work on something. Because you know, if you go very long without working on something, your nerves get all wrecked up. So I gotta make sure I work on something once in a while. Just to be sane, keep myself sane. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave that. See that? Yeah, that's gonna look just good in there. So this would be the tallest one, so it will go closest to the front. And I'm thinking, you're included in my thought process here. Oh yeah, yo-yo. Oh, cool. The front tree will be the tallest tree, and then they'll get a little bit shorter as it goes back. And I'm thinking maybe 3 trees on each side. So the other tree will be here, and then you'll have the pathway going down to the middle, and maybe have a moon up there, and I'm not sure what else. So that's my idea. So now I have one tree made. Now I need to make another tree similar size to this. So I'll just show you how I did it. We only have 30 minutes on the hop, so it helps if you get some things done ahead of time. I'm using, this is 26. This is, I'm not sure what this is. I think it might be 20. 22 or 24. I think this might be 24 gauge wire. And it's just regular copper wire. You could use any kind of wire. I just have a lot of copper wire, so I thought I'd use some of it. So I'm just uncoiling some, pulling it out. And now that I know how tall these need to be, let's see, I think I did them about like this. So we'll see how many that is. About 5 inches. So I'm going to cut 12 of these about 5 inches. Nice of you to come by, Brenda. Oops. I feel like I've been away so long, and it really has been, because I think September's hop, middle September, might be the last time I put anything on the channel. So I'm just, these don't have to be exactly the same size. They don't have to be perfect, but close, you know. I don't want any real short ones. So if you haven't worked with wire very much, something that's interesting to know is when you first get wire, it's probably the softest it's going to be, the most pliable it's going to be, unless you anneal it. And that means that if you heat it up. And the more you work with wire, the more you bend it, the harder or more hardened the wire becomes, and the more brittle it becomes. And if your wire is thin enough, if you bend it too much, it becomes so brittle that it actually breaks. That's why wire usually breaks. So like if you're twisting a thin wire and all of a sudden it breaks, that's why, because it's gotten hardened enough to where it's become brittle. And that's all it can do. Now, if you have wire that is too hard to start with, if you want it to be a little bit more pliable, or that has become hardened and you want it to be pliable again, you can use heat. And with copper, you heat it until it's red hot, and then you can quench it, or you can let it cool naturally, and which it cools pretty fast. Copper's pretty easy to anneal, and that's what the term is, annealing the wire. That means heating it up, because it conducts heat very easily. Some wires take a little bit longer to heat up. Now, let me see how many I have here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. It doesn't have a light. That's really unusual for a sewing machine not to have a light, Angie. So I've just made the bottom end even, and I'm going to go about halfway up and start twisting it. Now I like to use these pliers that have a protective piece of, it's basically what they are. It has a piece of rubber on there, and it keeps from scratching the wire and leaving little, rough spots on it. Sometimes that's important, sometimes not so much. Now I'm not going to twist it all the way to the bottom, because some of the bottom is going to be for the roots. So I'm just kind of trying to twist it fairly evenly. And then I'm turning it around. I'm going to twist it on the other side. Just hold this in place. And you twist close to where you're holding it. If I twist from way up here, it's going to twist this part of the wire. And then if I come down here and try to twist this, it's going to open this up. So you start from the end that you're holding it and you twist close, and then you just keep moving up as you get it twisted the way you want it, you just keep moving up to the next section. Okay, until it's the way you want it. Now I'm going to use this one for a measurement. So these will be, and this is the other thing, even though I'm going to straighten, let me use these, even though I'm going to straighten this wire out, I'm going to go ahead and twist, I forgot that, I'm going to go ahead and twist it all the way, even though I'm going to be untwisting it later, because it gives a little kinkiness. See how this looks? It's kind of kinky looking. It's going to look more like a root than if it's just straight. So I'm going to go ahead and twist that down. And then I can see, I know my root's going to be that long. My roots are going to be about that long. My trunk is going to be about that long. So right here is where I can actually stop. So I'm just going to hold that and just untwist this a little bit. You can twist this all. I keep forgetting that I need to kink up my wire. So I'm going to go ahead and twist this a little bit. And now I'm going to untwist it because it'll give me those little kinks in my wire. And I'm just holding these pliers at the place where it's going to stop unraveling, so I don't go past it. Then I'm on this one, I used 2 wires for each branch. So I'm just going to open out 2 wires. I think. Oh, come on, where are you? So I'm going to put 2 wires together, 2 wires together. It's a little fiddly, but you know. Helps to get them untwisted first. Trying to get ahead of myself, I guess. Well, here's 2 wires. Well, come on, guys. Get them done. And there's 2 wires. Okay. Now, the other thing you can do with this pliers, which is really nice, is you can, if you want to, you can straighten your wires out. I don't really want to do that in this case. I'm just going to sort of pull them together. But if I wanted to, I could just take it and clamp down on it and just pull it, and it will straighten out my wire. My other pliers. Got so many pliers, it's unbelievable. Okay, here we go. So I want to just, at this very bottom, I want to twist my the pairs together. So I'm going to twist this pair together just right here at the bottom for just a short ways. And I'm going to do the same thing with this, each one. Just for a couple of twists is all it needs. You can always go back and do more if you need to. Okay, so here's another pair. Did that one, did that one. Here's a pair. You can use the same technique to make little trees, all kinds of little trees. Like I said, you can make tree of life pendants with a very similar technique. So it would be like if you had let's pretend this is here. If you had a ring that you wanted to make the pendant around, it would you would be doing the same technique, but whenever you open this part up, you would wrap it around the bottom so it looks like roots growing around the bottom. And then at the top, you would add beads and wrap it around up here. So these would all be separated and there would be beads up here. And that would be how you make a tree of life pendant. Of course, it could be smaller than that, but people like those a lot, and they're really easy to make. You can use different colors of wire, different colors of beads, all different. I've seen some really pretty designs. I usually put a moon, a bead. I put a bead that looks like a moon on mine when I make them. So once the pairs are all twisted together at the bottom, here's where, whoops. So here's where we are, right here. We've got to this point, and this is coming untwisted. So let me fix this right quick. All right, there. So we have 6 pairs of wires. And all I'm going to do now is separate these wires and start curling them. Here's my tool. And you could do this with a pair of pliers. Here's a special pair of pliers that have really tiny, you can make real tiny loops with. You can use a round nose plier like this, or you can just use a piece of bar, or whatever, depending on what size you want the curls to be. So I'm just going to start down here, and I'm going to start wrapping in the middle because it's just easier to do that. Wrap this wire all the way around, and I like to take my soft pliers and crimp that end down because otherwise it's going to stick up. And then you just, without getting stuck, you can just wind that around there using your fingers until it's as short as you want it to be. Which in this case is fairly short because we don't have as much space as we could have. And then you just pull that out. So I'm going to do that on all of these. And I can just push the ones out of the way that I'm done with because they're easy to move around. Keep them out of the way. So you can see this wire is fairly thin. I have thinner, but you could use a larger gauge wire And the gauge, the smaller the gauge, the larger the wire. So here's some brass wire that's, what is this? This is a 20 gauge. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bit bigger. This also makes nice tree of life. But for this, it needed to be something small, so, I thought the small wire would work better. You can do this with a pair of pliers if you want instead of your fingers, but it's just as easy to do it like this. I'm just going to crimp that little end around there. So once you get to the end, it's so hard you can't really push it down with your finger. You can use a pair of pliers or whatever. So this part takes a little while and a little bit of patience to, get all the way through it. Ouch. See, that's why I like to push those little ends down, because they're sharp. You dab that wire under your fingernail and you'll think twice about doing it again. That's for sure. So we've been wanting to get a new puppy for a while. I've talked about that before. And the puppy mama, the last time when she had a litter, she had all boys, 5 boys. And we wanted a girl for different reasons. And so we didn't get one. So we were going to do the next litter. So this is the next litter. And the mama dog has already started labor. So we're expecting to hear that puppies are here anytime today or tomorrow. And hopefully they'll be girls, because I think we get first pick. So that's exciting. We'll have a Halloween puppy. Of course, we won't get her yet. We'll have to wait. We won't get her until New Year's probably. But I'm still excited. We waited for a long time. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully they'll be girls. And this is this mama and daddy's last litter. They're being retired. And they are from a very impressive line. So we'll be happy to get one of their puppies to go with our puppy that we have, our Bella baby. She'll be 3 next month. Oh no, actually this month she'll be 3. Just turned 3, actually, is what I should say. I don't know what I'm talking about. But we wanted her to have a friend. So hopefully this project is going to work, this puppy project and this diorama project. Maybe I could put a little dog in there to see what I got. I might have a schnauzer charm I could put in there. That would be cute. I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure I have one. I'm not sure what else to put. I don't want to make it too complicated. Ouch, too complicated. But, you know, you can see these don't take that long to do. They're pretty quick. Hello to everyone that's here, but not saying hi. Glad you're here. Just giving you a shout out. Kind of a quiet time. Pretty relaxed. Hope you're relaxed today. Having some quiet, creative time. Everybody needs a little time to relax. Sometimes we don't think we deserve it, or we think things are so busy. But we need to slow down a little bit and enjoy things. I feel like all I've done for the last 2 weeks is pack and unpack suitcases for me and different people and take care of a sick dog. But, you know, you have to go with the flow, do what needs done. Today, hi, Lisa. Lisa must have been in the background. Sometimes you just need to take time and do some things and enjoy yourself, and you're all the better for it. Okay, there's another tree. Now see, they don't have to look exactly like, because, you know, no two trees look exactly like. But those are close. I want them to be close in size so they would fit. So I can open this one to right here. I don't have any beads here by me, so I'm going to have to do that later. Make the rocks later. So how are you, Lisa? Huh, my eyesight is getting worse all the time. I think it's time for another trip to the eye doctor, and it seems like I just went. I'm still not seeing that great. So, I don't know. Needs to do something different, maybe. Of course, you don't think it could be that I'm just getting older. I don't know. I doubt that. I mean, like, you know, who's getting older? Okay, now let's match these up and see if they, because I want them to be about the same height as what I'm looking at here. Yeah, need to go a little bit more. I love the way these wire trees look like they have roots. I just really like that. I kind of was trying to decide if I want this to look spooky, like for Halloween, because the hop is after Halloween. But I don't know. I think I just want it to look like a dark pathway with trees on the sides. Oops, that. So here we go. So we're going to be like this. Of course, they'll be inside there. I'll make them, squish them up a little bit so that they're inside there. But I want them to look full at the top. And the pathway will be through here. And that's going to be painted in. So I think what I'm going to do is stop and do some painting. And then I'll do some more trees. See how I'm not sure how many trees I need. It might only fit 2 more trees. but maybe 3 will work. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to move all this over. Good grief, I have too many pliers. I shouldn't even be talking about pliers. Look at all this wire. Look how much wire I have. That's from wire wrapping. I used to do a lot of wire wrapping. You know, I could make the next trees a different color wire. That might be interesting. I could make it that darker wire, the brass. Wonder how that would look. And we'll see. Although in a lane like that, all the trees would probably look the same. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, now let me find some paint over here. There's some black. I want some purple, maybe, and blue. I want some of this blue. And I'll need some browns. And what else? That'll be enough to start. All right. Find a paintbrush or two. And a little bit of water. It's not dirty. Oh, cup's dirty. What have y'all been working on? Angie, sounds like you're working on your yo-yos and what have you. Brenda, you still here? What have you been doing? Lisa? Y'all been doing anything fun and productive? Or just fun, even not productive? Okay, so it's got some stickiness right there. I think start with the path. Whoop. Oh, you know, we went to Mexico last month and I had a lot of just sit back and relax time while we were there, where I didn't go on any excursions or anything like that. I just stayed at the resort and totally enjoyed my time. And I always take something with me to work on, something little, you know. And this time I just took one coloring book and all of my colored pencils. Well, not all of them, but you know, all of a set of colored pencils. And whenever I wasn't in the pool or at dinner or having to, you know, do anything else, I would sit up on the covered walkway that goes between the resort has 5 hotels. And there's a walkway that goes from one end of the resort to the other that's covered. And it's just beautiful. And you come out of the hotel and you're on the walkway. And there was one area that I think was really set up for smokers because they had little tables and rattan chairs. And you could sit there, you know, do whatever you want to do. So you're still in the middle of everything, but you're sort of not. And I just loved it there. And there was a breeze that came through and it was just so nice. So I spent all my, what I call extra time, up there on the walkway at the tables coloring. And I had more conversations with people, and people would be walking by, and I found that a lot of the employees used the walkway because they're pushing these big carts around and stuff. So they would stop and talk to me, which is fun. And then other people pushing baby strollers and things like that. They would stop and talk, and I just enjoyed it so much. And I hadn't really colored much in a while, so that was enjoyable too. So I got quite a few pictures done. Well, not totally done, but almost done, because I don't always finish one at one sitting anyway. But that was just a really enjoyable part of the trip. So we're going back in February, and I think I might be. I go with my daughter's travel company, and I think I might be given uh, a little journal making class, so they can have a little travel journal. And so we'll see how that goes if it happens. But I'll probably take my coloring book again because I enjoyed it so much last time. I don't really have anybody to answer to much when we're there, because my husband's part of the travel group team, so he's busy, and my daughter, and she's always busy behind the scenes working with all their arrangements. And my son-in-law, he speaks Spanish fluently, so he's always taking care of all that kind of stuff. And so nobody has to worry about me. I'm happy doing my own thing. Do you work in your art journal all the time, Brenda, or just occasionally? Is that your main focus, or you just do that along with other things? I worked in one of my art journals not too long ago, and that was pretty fun because I hadn't done it in a while. I should do it more often. I probably should have used gesso on these first, because now I'm going to have to do more than one coat, because the finish is, it's not glossy, but it's it's not flat either. So the paint wants to slide around a little bit, but that's okay. I told my husband last night that I had a whole list of things that I want to get done this winter. Usually I have a big winter project, like, oh, that's when I might make an afghan or work on a quilt or something like that. But most of the time, uh, I don't do those big projects too much, mostly just during the winter. But this year, I want to get my craft space really straightened out the way I want it. I want to I'm wanting to do some sewing for myself. And I have a mannequin. It's hard to, if you're a big person, it's hard to get a mannequin or a dress form that absolutely fits you. They only go up to a certain size, and then after that, you have to adjust it yourself and make it, add layers or whatever you have to do to it. So mine is pretty close to my size, but I never did adjust it, all the way so that it was perfect, because I wasn't really sewing that much and I only needed it for one big project. So now I need to get my mannequin out and really refine the measurements and all that, and get some sewing done. But I don't want to get that started until I get the sewing area straightened out a little bit better. It's usable, but it's not desirable. So I want to get that done first. So that's one thing. Get the sewing room reconfigured to where it's more workable, and get the mannequin resized, or at least, sized to where it should be, and clean out all my closets, clothes closets and laundries and everything. Get them all organized. And also, as the clothes closet gets cleaned out, figure out what I want to keep and maybe alter or change in some way so that I'll wear it, and get rid of the rest. Because it just takes up so much room not to be being used. The clothes do, I mean. So I told him, I said, I have a long list, but I doubt half of it'll get done because I'm so slow. It takes me forever to do physical things. But I'm wound up about it, so maybe some of it'll get done. Oh, Brenda, you watercolor. I don't watercolor. I never could get it very well. I did oils and acrylics and stuff, but watercolors I never really had a knack for. I don't know why. I thought about trying it again, I just haven't got around to doing it. But I think watercolors are so pretty and you can do so much with them, but I just never seem to do very well with them. So, I have all the supplies, but yeah, I haven't really done a lot of painting in a while. I've also been wanting to do a portrait of my granddaughter, a painted portrait of my granddaughter in my style. It won't be as realistic as some, but I want, I do want to do one of her. So that's in the back of my mind a lot. But yeah, watercolors, I'm impressed with anyone who can do watercolors because it's something I don't do well. So it's fun to watch and see how things turn out. So I better let that dry. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to pick up some new paints because some of them are getting almost empty. I want to move some things around in my craft area. And that's always a major dilemma, what to put where and make it all fit. I've always had a dedicated spot for my granddaughter to craft from the time she was young. And she's always been a crafting buddy when she's at my house. Of course, when she was younger, she was at my house a lot because I'd pick her up after school. Now she's 14 and her schedule is so busy that she doesn't have a lot of time to come do that. But once in a while she still does. So, you know, I've tried to keep a spot for her, but I think her spot is going to be taken over when I move things around. She'll still have all her stuff available, but she's just going to have to find a random table to work on. So it's not, you know, so I can use the space at other times. She's so into pickleball now that that's what her world is all about. I just came back from Las Vegas for a tournament, and she's got a big tournament coming up where she's going to be playing up. So she's kind of excited about that, playing above her rating, which is funny because she always seems to play better whenever she plays above her rating. I think it keeps her attention more because it gives her more of a challenge. I keep telling her you need to play the same no matter who you're playing with. You know, because she has a tendency when she's playing under her level, which they do sometimes, that she doesn't play as well because she's just piddling around and not serious about it. I said, you know, you need to be serious about every game if that's what she's wanting to be a pro. I said, you got to be serious about every game, regardless. Because for one, you never know who's watching and might be beneficial to your career. But two, it gives you good practice to try to always do the same consistently. So she has been trying to a little bit more lately. Now that's going to have to dry. Use the heat gun for a second here. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit. See what we need to do to this. I don't think that's going to come off of there. So what I'll do, I can find a piece of paper, piece of white paper, let's put it that way. I'm just going to cover this side and then I'll paint it. A cameo journal. What's a cameo journal? I don't think I've seen that. Angie. A cameo journal. Yeah, well, does it have like cameos on every page or what is it? There's another one on here. Well, the reason I'm covering this is when I paint this, it'll show this little square right here that's a label. So I'd rather just cover it and paint it. Oh, that sounds cool. I hadn't even seen that. Well, that's too small. So is it cameos like jewelry or pictures that look like cameos or just whatever you decide to put? White beads. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I think what I'm going to do on the cover is a checkerboard. I'll probably be sorry I did, but that's what I think I'm going to do. How big? Half inch, maybe? Probably makes the most sense. So it's a little off for my checkerboard, so I'm going to adjust my ruler so that there's the same amount of space here as on the other side. This is like 2 and, let's see, 2 5/8, and I want it to be 2 1/2. So I'm just going to slide my ruler over and leave 1/16 of an inch on each side of 2 1/2. So now my bigger, I can mark all these at 1/2 inch and just let the excess be the other color, I guess. Maybe that'll work. It's not rocket science, so we're not too worried about it. Just draw me a checkerboard. I'm sure somewhere that I have some stick-on strips that are checks. I don't know where they are. I'm not going to look for them. I'm just going to do this. I like checkerboards. I like checks and spirals and circles. Can't see a thing. Same thing on this side. Oh, duh. Going this way. Already did that side. Okay, this one is about the same. It's off a little more. Okay, so we'll just guess. That'll have to do. It's the worst that can happen. It'll be crooked. You know, I should have done the white first, or whatever color the checkerboard's going to be, before I drew these lines. But I guess I wasn't thinking too straight. So just make it up as I go. Now what everybody does. Okay. I have to decide what color I want. Excuse me. It's hard to work on that little box like that. Raised up that far. You don't have good leverage. Yeah, that helped. Yeah, I know. I'm not worried about it, Brenda. But, you know, you like for things to come out right when you do them, especially when you're showing them to someone. But it'll be fine. Not to worry. Not to ever worry. I always say that you're the one who's making it. And nobody but you is going to know if it's right or wrong. So enjoy the process and live with the things that don't look exactly right, and you'll be much happier for it. I'm using a Posca pen right now, Posca paint pen in black. Hear that noise? What do they call that? ASRM or something like that. ASMR, I don't know what they call it. Get another coat on this. Where'd my brush go? Here it is. Gonna take a few coats, I guess, on this stuff. It's just got that some kind of coating on it that makes it difficult. All these little bottles get these little goobers in the top of them because I don't wipe them out like I should, I guess. Okay, blue. And some purple if there's any. I need to get some new paints before long. I'm starting to run out. I gave away over 200 bottles of craft paints a few years back. And I gave them to a young guy at church, and he has just had the best time with those paints. I didn't check them. Some of them I'm sure were dried up, and some were, barely any in there, whatever. But he took them all, and he's been painting with them. He's had a good time with them. And I just went and bought a small collection of Americana paints because I don't use them like I used to. So it's about time to go refresh a couple of them. You can't even see that on there. That actually is purple though. Can't tell on the screen. see, what else has been going on around here? Gee, not much. It's mostly been, my dog got bit is what happened when she was at the borders while we had, the day we came back from our Mexico trip. And it just was a random thing. I mean, you know, the dogs have been playing together all week and just happened all of a sudden. Nobody knows what caused it or, you know, anything. Of course, they were just really upset, the people who were keeping her, and had to take her to the vet, emergency vet, and all that. She had several punctures on her back that were small, just, you know, little punctures or little bites. And then she had one on her shoulder that was pretty deep, but not, you know, not deep enough to stitch or anything like that, but it was deep enough to where we had to take precautions with it, you know. So she was on antibiotics for 2 weeks, and she just got off of those on the 22nd. And then I noticed about 2 days later, well, 3 days later, I guess, what's this? This is the 29th. So I guess it was 4 or 5 days. And I thought she was acting kind of funny when she came in from being out in the yard. And then I noticed later in the day that she was limping around. So took her to the vet again. And he said that she has an infected nail bed. And one of her little toes is all swollen around her toenail, and it's painful. So she's back on antibiotics, back on pain pills, and just kind of, you know, slinking around, not having much fun, poor thing. So we've had that to deal with. And just normal different stuff like that. Okay, so it's very hard to tell. You can't, maybe if I change the light, it will help. Purples are kind of hard to see. Nope, I didn't do it. Nah, doesn't make any difference. But down here is sort of like a light navy blue, and then it fades into a purple. Same thing on the sides. You can kind of see it over here, but it doesn't, you can't see the purple. And then I'm going to put a few streaks of, get some of that off of there. A few streaks of the light blue, or maybe light purple would be better. Yeah, like a lilac-y color. And streak up the sky a little bit. Give that a little bit of interest. I guess I better do it over here too. So it kind of goes around the corner. Let's see how our little trees are going to look. Yeah. I might end up painting my trees black. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Oops, wrong way. Wonder what I'm going to fix for supper tonight. Maybe I'll make meatloaf. We went out for catfish last night, so I can't ask to go again. Okay, Angie, have a good day. See you later. Just trying to blend that in a little bit. Okay. Now I need something for the moon. I don't know. Should I make a full moon or a crescent moon? Hi, Aunt Beck. How you been? Oh, I posted it on Fibsville, but that was all. Nice of you to come by. I don't know if I should do a full moon or I think I'll do a full moon. That'll be easier. That'll be easier. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, blue paint's not dried yet. Dry that a little bit. Oh. Is that you're not talking about Anne's room, are you? Is that something different that I should know about? Or am I being nosy? Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let this dry because my paint is. I'm pulling paint off. Oh, huh. Well, I guess I didn't know about that, Becky. Maybe you didn't want me to know about it. Keep it secret. So I was just thinking this morning, I was wishing that Anne's room was open so I could visit. And then I thought, well, I need to do this video, so I'll just do that instead since it wasn't. Maybe I knew it and I just forgot. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put one last coat of black on here and then let this dry because I'm pulling paint and it's because it's not all the way dry. Yeah. don't know, it could be the finish on this box is not gonna, I probably should have used gesso on it. Might be a problem. So then I'll just have to cover it instead of painting it. There's always an answer. Oops. Always something you can do to fix things. Which I've learned over the years. Because I'm always goofing something up. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry. And go back to making some more trees. Or I could work on this. That's what I'll do. I'll work on this. Oops, something's got the dog riled up upstairs. What time is your room usually open from to and from, Becky? Oh, look like Amazon was just here delivering my packages. I have to stop and think about what it is. I've got several things coming. I just ordered a new corner rounder because mine is not working and I use it all the time. And then when I got it, the new one, I realized it has supposed to have a lifetime warranty. So I sent an email this morning because they're not answering the phone. They just want you to email them stuff. So maybe I'll get another one. Then I'll have two. I didn't realize before I bought this second one. Excuse me. So like I said, I'm thinking about painting my trees. If I do, then I'll probably use the airbrush because that'll work better. I don't like to spray paint with a can of spray paint because the fumes are terrible. But I can just use my regular paint in the airbrush. And it's just such a small thing that it should work fine. If I decide to paint them, which I'm really thinking about doing. Try out these purples and see if I like any of them. Start with the Posca. has not been started. These are Arteza's paint pens. Ow. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Poscas. I have so many things besides my list I was talking about before that I want to work on. I've got a box full of gourds that I need to do something with. They're really nice gourds from Wellburn Farms. And they're canteen gourds, which is just the shape. That's what they call that particular shape. And I'd like to make some purses out of them. But when you use gourds, you have to clean the insides out. Unless you're fortunate enough to buy them with the insides already clean, which is very seldom. Because, you know, they can't be cleaned unless they're cut open. And they may not cut them the way that you want. So anyway, I would like to make some purses with the gourds that I have left. And that requires me to have to cut them and clean them. And the reason I stopped working with gourds is because they affect my allergies very badly. Gourds, even if you don't see it on them, they can have mold spores. And if you don't wear protective equipment, it can really affect you. And I'm really allergic to mold and must and mildew. And these are very clean gourds. Even when you open them, they're pretty clean. So it's not, you know, they're not nasty, but yeah, you have to grind out the insides because it's rough on the inside. So if you want something that's going to be smooth, you have to clean it out really well. And that's the only thing that stopped me from working with them, because I don't know if I'm lazy or if I just don't want to do it. But if I'm going to use them, I'm going to have to. So maybe in the summer, maybe next summer or spring, I will tackle those and just get them all done at the same time. I have a really good tool for that, but it's not very portable. But I think I'm going to hook it up outside and hang it from the swing set or something. It's a rotary tool, a big industrial rotary tool that I hardly ever use anymore. But so anyway, I think that's what I'm going to do is just take it all outside, cut them open the way I want to use them for purses or bowls, one or the other. I also thought about making yarn bowls, you know, so you put your yarn in when you're crocheting or knitting or whatever, and instead of your ball rolling all over the place, it stays in the bowl. I might do some of those, and I would like to do some basket edging on those. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll end up doing purses or not. Either way, I still have to clean them out. So once they're cleaned out, then I could store them again and use them as I want to. But since it's such a process, I just want to get them all done at the same time and have it over with. So that's on the back burner. That will get rid of a big box. And I'm wanting to sew. I'm really wanting to sew. But like I said earlier, I have things I have to do before I can start sewing. So I got to do those things. Hopefully by the time I get those things all done, my sewing itch will still be there. I got a lot of plans for the winter. Nobody gets sick and dogs don't get hurt. And I have one trip in February, and my husband has a couple of trips with the tour group, so it don't involve me other than getting packed and unpacked. But so, you know, hopefully I'll take advantage of the time and get some stuff done. Sometimes I get a notion to do these things. Oh, let's see. Well, you want me to? I'll go get it if you want to see it. I think I know right where it's at. Want me to get it? I keep forgetting that this is the prep for the hop, and I'm just talking about everything, so y'all just have to bear with me. Mary, when you watch this, you know how I am. I just talk. Okay, hold on just 1 second here, and I will. It's just here on the other side of the room, I think. Hold on. Okay. Rabbit trail, here we go. Let me move this. So here's the purse. Let me move this back so you can see. So here is the purse. Here's the front and the back. And this was done with colored pencil. The black is not colored pencil, but all the colors are colored pencil. And then here's the strap attachment. So this is actually where the stem of the gourd. This is a canteen gourd. They're shaped like a canteen, and they've actually been used to make canteens. Soldiers used to make canteens. Farmers, you know, and this is where the stem actually is. And I just took a wooden bead and attached it to the stem. I think I used I ground the stem, you know, because it was kind of curvy. I ground the stem so it would fit inside the bead, and you can just see right there where it's worn off a little bit. Right there in the middle of it is the stem. So I used it kind of like a dowel. And then this is just tied on the inside and comes out and hooks around it for a clasp. So here's the end. The inside's not finished. Here's the inside. Let me see if I can get stuff out of the way. So here's the inside. So you can see the screws where this handle is attached. Those are called Chicago screws. They're pretty cool. They screw together. and you can see where the leather, the rawhide, is through here. See how thick this gourd is? All the gourds I have are just like this one. You know, they might be a shape, they might be a little bit different size or whatever, but all of them will have this thick shell. Now you see this, it's very rough. So all of this, this one's, it's not too bad. I mean, I could line the inside of this, which is what I had planned to do, was line the inside of it. So I didn't have to sand this all down. But normally when you open a gourd, there's all kinds of membranes in there that are all dried up and flaky, and you have to scrape them off and get it smooth, and then sand the inside so that it's smooth. So that's, and then you put the hinge on there. You have to carve out a space to put the hinge. I don't know if you could tell that or not. There. So that's basically what it is. But yeah, I would like to make one or two more, but then I also had the idea about making and then it, you know, it hangs. And you can make them different ways. You could make it so that it's cut here and opens like this. You can cut them here and put the hinge at the bottom, and then make a lining that looks like a pocket, you know, like a expanding pocket, so that when it opens up, it's like a clamshell. But I kind of like this way better. So there's that. And then the other thing I'd like to make with them, this is a bowl. This was made from a well, what do they call it? I call it gooseneck gourd, or a, what is it called? I can't think of it. But the gourd is skinnier at the top, what you think of when you think of a gourd. And so it's just cut off right here. It's cut off at the side. And you can see it's not even on the bottom, but it sits pretty good. And it's cut so that the top is even from the floor. And then I put this rattan edging on the top. I love doing this. It's tedious because every one of the, if you look inside, well, I think you can see it. You can see right here, each one of those is a stem, or, you know, a piece of stuff that you have to drill a hole in the edge of the bowl, and it sticks down in there, and then you braid it around here. So, you know, it takes time to drill all those little holes and put them all in and all that, but it's not hard to do. I really enjoyed doing that. So I thought if I made the flat one, you know, even though it's a canteen gourd, if I just, you know, slice the top or one of the sides off, and then I could put that on the edge, and it would still make a really nice bowl for yarn. So okay, that was my sidetrack. So I'm gonna work on this little box a little bit more. Try to get this side started, and then I'm gonna probably stop. I might make one more tree, but it's getting late, so I have to think about what I'm gonna do for supper. I think I'm just gonna make meatloaf and maybe some sweet potato fries or something like that with some salad. That kind of sounds good. Thanks, Brenda. I haven't worked on gourds in quite some time because, like I said, they started bothering me really bad. And I got interested in making jewelry because I was making jewelry out of, or I got interested in beading because I was making jewelry out of gourds, and I needed a good what do you call it, chain for some of my necklaces, and I just in a nice, a different way to finish the edges and stuff. So I ran across an article in a magazine, and I thought, that's exactly what I want to do. It didn't have directions or anything. It was just an article, that showed some pictures. So I sort of taught myself and did that for a while, and then I got a little bit more interested in the beading part whenever I couldn't really, I had to stop cutting up gourds and stuff. So I started getting into the beading and really loved it. And I've been beading for, oh my gosh, well, 25 years maybe, close to it. And from the beading, I got into the wire wrapping because I thought it was so really cool. And everything just kind of comes around and goes around. So, never know what something's going to get you into. But I've done a lot of things in my life, but I always come back to certain things. I never get away from sewing for very long. Now I don't get away from beads for very long. I haven't done much in a while, so I'm ready to start back on it. Same with sewing. I haven't done much sewing in a while. Not just clothing sewing. I've done some other stuff, but making clothes for myself, I haven't done in a long time. And painting, I always go back to painting. You just, if you like something, you go back to it. But doesn't mean you have to do the same thing all the time. I get in modes where I do certain things for a while, and I'll have enough of that to suit me for a while, and I'll go back to something else. And it's fun. You don't get bored, And I really like it when a project combines a lot of different methods. So I like making metal jewelry that combines clay and beading and things like that. I like doing mixed media, which I can add some sewing to, beading to, just all that different stuff that you combine. That's when it's really fun. Well, thanks, Brenda. I appreciate that. Oh, Lisa, did you stitch the beads on, or did you use wax, or how did you do it? When we were in Mexico last October, not just this past year, not this past October, but a year ago, there's a ecological park there called Scaret, and they have a little museum in the park, and it was really neat. They had clothing and textiles and stitched, yeah, and all different kinds of woodworking. It was really cool, and they had some gourds that had been pierced and then cross stitched on that were pretty cool. So that I really enjoyed. It was a surprise. I had no idea they had that stuff in there. So when I went in and was looking around, they have all these rooms full of this kind of stuff, and I just was, I was in heaven, just up my alley there. So I really enjoyed that. All those beautiful embroideries and what have you. I used to go to bead retreats in Louisiana and Arkansas, where you would go for a weekend, and the hotel had a room set up where you can just leave all your stuff, and they would lock it up. We would lock it up once we were done, and you could bead as late as you wanted to. You could beat all night if you wanted to. Oh, that sounds really cute, Lisa. I haven't done that in a few years. I don't think I'll be doing those again because I can't do that driving anymore by myself. It just doesn't work. But it sure was fun. Get 60 ladies together in a room who were all crazy about beading. You can imagine. I used to make birds out of gourds. They were pretty popular. And big hens. I'd make these big fat hens out of gourds that they're just decorative, you know. They were pretty cute. I liked them a lot. They were fun to make and paint. I'm kind of liking how this is. I think this is going to turn out. If I can keep the paint on the box, might be a problem. I'd like to see that, Lisa. That sounds really pretty. You know, I hardly ever keep anything. Things always either get sold or they get given as gifts or whatever, you know. So I'm surprised that I still have these, the things I just showed you, that they were never finished and given away or sold. I have another bowl someplace that is cut with a handle in it, and it has fish swimming around it. And then the inside of the bowl is decoupaged with blue tissue papers in different colors, so it looks like water. It turned out pretty cute. I don't know where it is. Somewhere packed away, I guess. Did you use leather dyes on it, Lisa? Excuse me. I'm going to be here for about 10 more minutes. Or no, what time is it? 2 more minutes till 4 o'clock. And then we're going to scoot out. Thanks, y'all, for coming by. I appreciate it. Sometimes I'm not very exciting to watch. But if you just want some background noise, I can do that pretty easily. Okay, ladies, I'm going to sign out of here and work on this later. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you join the hop on the 12th. You can go to TheMeriAtelier and see what the schedule is and come by and visit with us. We all appreciate it. Thanks for stopping, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.